Hi, welcome back to Then and Now with Connie and Vikki. Today we're going to talk about what it's like to have an aging parent or relative, someone we know, the decisions that you have to make, how difficult those decisions are. And I have that with my mom right now who's about to turn 25.
25. Whoa. She was
95.
young.
She was young. 95. You just got back trip
From
trying to,
Oklahoma
yeah,
to see my 92-year-old uncle,
yeah.
whose mind is just as crisp as it can be, but his decisions and his stubbornness.
Does he still live alone?
Yes, he does.
Okay.
He's lived alone
Okay.
for a long time.
Yeah.
His wife died. Um, good grief. Probably 50, 60, 50 years ago.
Wow.
60 years no, probably
Wow.
60. He never remarried. He's always kind of been a loner.
Yeah. Wow.
He has one son.
Okay. Well, I can tell you a little bit about my mom a little bit and what's going on there. My dad passed away in 2010. So, and it was kind of sweet after she kind of settled in after that because my mom has always just been, all she's done is really take care of us
Take-
4 kids, and that was her life and everything. And I don't even remember her having, friends or anything like that. But she met through one of our mutual friends, an older lady after my dad passed, and they became fast and furious like best friends.
Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah, uh-huh. And this lady was more of a go-getter than my mom and everything, and still wore like full makeup and everything. Just super cute, super cute. Probably about the same age. So my mom would have been 79, 80, I guess, right around that age. So they became fast. I mean, they were going out to eat, going to Cracker Barrel.
And how did they meet?
Through Mary.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's what I meant, a mutual friend. So Mary did a lot with this woman. Her name was Mrs. Parrish, and just and to help take care of her and run errands and stuff, because I don't think she was driving anymore, but Mary would drive and everything. So they'd all go out to breakfast or lunch or hang out, and there were always cute little pictures of them together and stuff, out at Cracker Barrel on the front porch or something like that. And my mom had a friend, and it was really neat to see her kind of come out of that mom mode,
right,
and just kind of come into something that was just for her. And then I'll be darned if not 6 months later, Mrs. Parrish came down with the flu, went into the hospital, and passed away.
Was that hard on your mom?
My mom is so stoic, you just wouldn't know it. I know it had to be, but anyway, so that kind of set up. Okay, sorry about that. We had to take a quick break. I don't know if you can see Kenyon, if you remember my German Shepherd, who is sick, but he just wanted to be right up here, right in the middle of us. So anyway, we'll pick back up there.
Anyway,
yeah,
so your mother's
so she lost her friend. Yeah, it was so sad. But so, and then just over the next few years, we just started noticing some things with my mom, like people coming into the house and stealing her purse and just stuff like that.
That was really happening to her?
No,
Oh, she
no.
thought it was.
We didn't know
Well, she
really
thought
at
it was
first.
happening.
Right.
Okay,
And
okay.
the paranoia, and my mom loved Cokes, so we'd find Cokes hidden everywhere around the house so people wouldn't come in and steal them and stuff like that. So long story short, we started seeing signs of dementia and coming on, and it did. It finally, was getting to where it was unsafe for her to be by herself. So we had to make the decision, first of all, Mom, you can't drive anymore. That's so tough.
Yeah.
And then we'd make the decision, like, you really can't live alone anymore. But anyway, it all comes down to making those decisions. And even though I know it was the right thing to do and those were the right decisions, you still live with the guilt of it. I'm still guilty that, because what did my mom like to do? She liked to get up on Saturday morning and maybe run out to Target and do some shopping and, love going to the grocery store and just things like that. And you just take away that independence and freedom. And even though you,
Oh,
you need to, but it's still a hard decision. And you have to live with that.
yep.
And you have to live with, her being in assisted living and then the fight she put up about that. And then finally to where, they can't care for themselves
Right.
at all. And, but so what's interesting, my grandmother was like 101, but
Wow.
Granny was unbelievable, had her mind and everything up until just her body just gave out. So you just don't know what aging's
Right.
going to look like for someone, right?
That's true.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so
So
how's
my
your
uncle, well, we learned kind of a lot. He's 92. He's lost his wife years and years and years ago. Never remarried, and it's kind of sad because now he's outlived all of his friends.
Yes.
So he has
Yeah.
no friends. He loves to go Geiger counting, or they take these things and look for stuff. He
Yeah.
loved that.
Yeah.
Now he's got problems with his legs, and his mind is great.
Is it?
We sat there and talked to him. He was really great. He can't hear. But the problem we have, number one, is he gets on Google on his phone, and he diagnosed all of his ailments.
Oh,
He's
okay.
got-
Well, I'm impressed he can get, he's
It's a
on
flip.
search.
Well, it's a flip phone, so I'm impressed too that you can
you
get
can search on those
Google
things?
on a flip
Oh,
phone.
wow. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
no kidding.
Yeah.
And so he's convinced he has immune deficiency disease.
Okay.
He's due to that he's not hard of hearing. He's decided that's part of the, even though he couldn't hear us. That's because we talk slang, or it's our southern accent.
Oh, okay.
But
he's in Tulsa. He can't
Yeah.
understand your southern accent.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's really hard. He only has one son, and he's got his grandkids up there, and they're all grown.
Mm-hmm.
But he's one of these that doesn't have a lot of boundaries.
Okay.
He's right, and something has to be his idea. And when he thinks that this is his ailment, then this is it. And if a doctor tells him differently, he's going to want to argue with the doctor that this is what I know, what I've got. I know the problem.
Oh, dear.
Too.
Yeah.
And we were just really concerned. We were really worried this trip going up there. We go once a year, and because he's really hasn't sounded really well on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
But we did get tickled because what he likes to do, his main thing is he loves when we come up, because we go to the casino up there. So I was worried how we were going to get him from the car into the casino because he's got a problem with his leg.
Okay.
And I even offered, I said, let me, I can rent a scooter for you.
Uh-huh.
We'll go to the medical place and pick it up as a portable one. We'll put it in the car and you can ride it. Nope. He was having no part of that.
Does he use a walker or anything?
He did. No, he has a cane.
Oh, he has a cane. Okay.
And I said, well, and he's still driving. Isn't that scary?
Oh, man.
The back of his car has can't miss it. It's got the dents. He backs up, I guess, until he hits something, and that's his signal.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
That's his signal to go straight.
Yeah.
And then he informs us that due to his immune deficiency, that he can't feel his feet. And that's kind of put a little bit of damper in his getting able to drive.
Yeah.
Hey, you think?
That's dangerous.
Yeah, that's what we said.
Yeah.
But he's just really determined. And several times I've called up there and I've asked him if he has food, are you okay? And let me, I'm going to call Walmart because I can have it there to you in an hour.
Uh-huh.
And all he'll eat is TV dinners. He doesn't cook because he doesn't want, and he doesn't, and no one goes to see him. Everybody, his family, and I do understand.
Yeah.
Number one, I understand. I understood more this time. They're busy.
Sure,
they're all
everybody
busy.
have your own life.
The grandkids are busy.
Yep.
No one, his son calls him every day,
Yeah.
but he can't always get by there and he doesn't live that far. But he just
he loves you.
I know.
Kenyon
I love him
loves
because he
you.
knows
Okay.
I love him. But anyway, he just can't. So anyway, so we got there. And we were really very concerned this may be our last trip up there, but the way he sounded. But we went, we picked him up. he walked fine. We
Okay.
went up the little ramp. Chuck,
Okay.
I dropped him, or we dropped him right off at the door,
Sure.
and Chuck got out and helped him, and we
Yep.
got him there,
Uh-huh.
and so then he proceeds to tell us about each machine. I gave him $50.
Okay.
And I said, "Here, you go spend this."
Uh-huh.
And Cindy, usually my older sister, goes with him,
Uh-huh.
and Chuck, he goes off because Chuck doesn't like, when Chuck gambles, he takes it very
Yeah.
serious. And so, and I kind of was going back and forth
Uh-huh.
because I take my gambling a little serious
Sure.
too. So obviously it runs in the family.
Oh dear.
So anyway, but so anyway, so then we went back over to see him. Well, then he was, and anyway, he was telling us, well, this machine, or the machines have changed since last time I was there. They were different placed, and what
Okay.
each machine did, he to give you a total detail.
Okay.
So I came back, and he had gone through his $50. It didn't
Oh,
take him long.
yikes.
So I said, okay. So I said, so I gave him another $20.
Okay.
Then Chuck comes up. And, I was thinking it would last a little while.
Right.
I mean, and so then Chuck comes up, and Chuck kind of won a pot. Well, I guess that made him think he really wanted to, because he took the $20 and now he had $50. Uncle Kenny did.
Oh, okay.
Uncle.
Yeah.
So anyway, so when then he went to this machine, and he started just taking the $50, and just before it could even say if it was going to hit a game or hit a
Uh-huh.
win, he was just feeding it through. Like, I was just
Oh
absolutely,
my goodness.
I was floored.
Uh-huh.
So I'm thinking, you're going through that. So
Yeah.
anyway, it became time we're getting ready to lose. I gave him another $20.
Dang.
And I said, okay, we just trying to get him to the door.
Yeah.
And so and again, he took that, and he just was just feeding it in, just not even.
Not lasting 30 seconds,
No,
probably.
just
Yeah. Wow.
And so anyway, but then we were, like I said, we were meeting the family, because I take everybody for lunch, and
Mhm.
I actually laugh because sometimes I think that, because he doesn't see the family much because they're so busy,
Mhm.
that it's a chance when we go up there.
Yeah.
I always make a point. I take everybody to meet on Saturday.
Uh-huh.
After we go to the casino, then
Oh.
Saturday afternoon, I take everybody to lunch, so that
Yeah.
the grandkids come, the great grandkids,
Aw.
and we have a nice,
Yeah.
lunch. And but anyway, so it was, he's very, he can be very demanding. He wants it his way or
Mhm.
no way. And about a
Mm.
year and a half ago, he realizes now that he probably needs some help.
Okay. Well, that's
And
good.
right, and so we decided he wanted to go into assisted living, but he said he wanted to do this about a year and a half ago. And about a year and a half ago, I told him, I said, well, when you're ready, I'll come up,
Uh-huh.
and I'll take you, and we'll look around, we'll find a
Uh-huh.
place. And then I even found some places, and he drove and looked one, but
Okay.
didn't think that really quite met his expectations
Okay.
the way he
Uh-huh.
wanted. And so he said, well, now he's, gonna, I guess, try to look for assisted living. Well, I didn't think too much about it, and we dropped him off. When Chuck helped him get the car and was helping him to his door, when we were leaving the restaurant, the first thing he said, he says, "Yeah, my rent lease is up in four months." And I said, "Okay."
Okay. So he doesn't own where he is now.
No, he's in
okay.
an apartment.
Oh, okay. Oh,
I'm sorry,
okay.
he's lived in this apartment
Okay.
complex for 20 years.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Yes.
Wow.
And so Chuck came back with the car. He said, well, Uncle Kenny says that you're coming back. He's moving, and you're coming back up there in a few months to take him looking at place. And I said,
Oh.
Chuck, that was a year and a half ago. A year and a half ago, my work schedule was a little more flexible than it is now.
Right.
And the other thing I've discovered is I can't help him because I don't have any. I'm not his next of kin.
Right,
I'm
right.
his niece,
Yeah.
but it has to be his son,
Sure.
somebody that knows all the answers to the questions.
Sure.
And if he thinks he wants assisted living, you have a waiting list before you can get onto those. You can't
Right.
wait 4 months and think you're going to just
Yeah.
somebody can just come up and then do it. And he's
Right.
going to need some of his VA assistance
Right.
to even pay for this.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, I thought, well, so I called his son, talked to his wife. I said, he seems he's not going to be happy with me, but and it's hard to step back. And I said, but this is really, he's so stubborn, he can't hear, and it's not really my
Right.
responsibility. I
Right.
did take care of my mom. I took care of my
Of course
dad,
you did. Yeah.
and they're gonna, but they're frustrated with him because when he wants something, he'll say, "I want it right. If you
Yeah.
can't do it right now, just forget it. I'll do it myself."
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
And they can't live their life around his
well,
schedule.
that's what we're
And
talking. That's the issue, right?
right,
With every one of us.
right. So it's really turned into a situation. And yesterday, my cousin called her. We've been back as it was, yeah, yesterday or day before. And Michael decides he doesn't have a primary care physician. He refuses to go to the doctor. They found him
Oh,
one, and he went in, and the doctor was asking too many the questions like we had
right.
anyway. Then and like I was telling you about, but they'd ask everything
Right.
on the thing. Well, he felt that was just too personal, and he got up and walked out. Said, even though he waited to get into a doctor to see if he could find a primary care physician, but he thought they were being too nosy about his.
Oh
They asked him something
dear.
about his sex life or something, and he we just couldn't even imagine. So he walked out. Took hell. He was not
Oh.
messing with no,
Oh boy.
and that's just not. So he
Oh boy.
refuses to go to the doctor. That's why he examines himself.
Okay.
So we're really in a bad
You
situation
are.
because
And you are because mentally he's
smart as
yeah.
yeah. And
Yeah.
they took him. So he called Cal and he said he wanted to go to the emergency room because his strategy is if he thinks something's wrong enough he'll go to the emergency room and they'll get him the doctor. Well, when you go to an emergency room, that's for emergencies. They're not
Right.
going to give you a physical. They're going to make
Right.
sure you're going to live. Because the
Right.
guy in the next
Yeah.
room that they got to get to
Yeah.
may be having a heart attack
Right.
and you're breathing.
Right. Oh
So
geez.
they prioritize.
Yeah.
Well, he just thinks the doctors are too young and he gets in there and they don't care. And so he went in. And they said actually for 92, he's got swelling in his legs. He's got a huge rash on his leg. But the doctors, they just kind of ignored, I guess, his diagnosis. He
Yeah.
got mad. They put the blood pressure thing on his arm. And Kel said that kind of flew across the room because he took it off while it was going because he said it
Oh.
hurt. So anyway, they think he get a little bit of high blood pressure, and they
Oh.
sent him home with a list of primary care physicians to have to find a primary care physician.
That is tough.
And now it's like, well, are you going to go?
Right.
Are you going to walk out again because you
Right.
don't like any of the?
Right.
Like you said, they asked me some really all
Right.
the same questions.
All right.
And so what do you do? The question is, what do you do when we didn't go with that with my dad or my mom. My dad knew when he was going to
Right.
stop driving.
Right.
Mom didn't have a chance.
Right.
He knew when he needed to go into assisted
Right.
living. We took
Right.
care of that. He did it.
Right.
He was so easy and knew
Yep.
everything.
Yep.
But having someone
Yep.
so independent
Yep.
and so defiant,
Yep. What do you
it's
do?
my way or the highway.
That's right.
It's very frustrating for people trying to be a caretaker,
Right.
someone
Right.
trying to look after them.
Right.
And I told my husband, I said, my heart goes out to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Number one, I can't help you because
Right.
I'm not. They're going to ask you to do
Yeah.
VA stuff. All
Well,
that.
plus you're down here and
I'm away,
you know,
and I can't.
DFW and
And I
yeah.
can't take
Yeah.
off from my job
Right.
and my
Right.
life.
Right.
And so they're in a really mess. But it's
Yeah.
it's tough when you got somebody who needs a caregiver,
Absolutely.
but they're not willing to give.
Yeah. I was going to say, I mean, is it an option for him to move in with them or not?
No.
Okay.
Reason being is, like I said, he doesn't have boundaries.
Yeah.
And when you move someone,
Yeah.
he's very demanding.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of friction there
Yeah.
within the
Sure.
family because
Sure.
they've tried to help, they
Sure.
want to help and do things, and he's just so
Yeah.
defiant, nosy,
Yeah.
wants to be involved, wants to
Yeah.
go through the cabinets, wants to
Absolutely.
do the thing,
Yeah.
and so I guess it depends on. I laughed. I told Kelly, I said, "Well, I guess doing that just depends on how well you like your wife because
Yeah.
she's not.
Yeah.
She probably wouldn't. It would be a tough. It
Right.
would be a tough sell, and it'd be tough for Kel.
Yeah.
For my
Yeah.
cousin too because he works
Yeah.
and he can't.
Yeah.
But he in their concern is if he goes into assisted living, he's so determined. He likes to eat his meals, and he likes to eat his meals at a certain time.
They'll probably
Well,
kick him out. That's what we'd
when
say
you're
about my mom.
that's okay. That's
Yeah.
that's exactly
Yeah.
that was totally brought up
Yeah.
yesterday in our conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Will he? Will he? He would not last. They would.
Yeah.
He would. They would kick him
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. Yeah. And there is no answer.
No, I
to
told
that.
Kel, I said the only thing you can do, because his mind is so good,
Mhm.
is you're just going to have to be stern. The only thing I can think of, we're
Mhm.
open to
Yeah.
anybody's suggestion, but is just you got to tell him, what's your next step, Dad?
Yeah.
You're gonna go. If you want to go to a doctor, you're gonna stay there and listen
Yeah.
to what they say.
Yeah.
If you want to move,
Yeah.
you got to plan
Yeah.
ahead. You
Yeah.
know, but as to take it a step at a time,
Yeah.
and if he doesn't want to listen,
Yeah.
you know what? There comes a point, as horrible as it is,
No, that's right.
he's got his faculties.
That's right.
So it's like you're on your own.
Yeah.
What else can you do?
Yeah. And there's two sides to that, especially at our age now, as we think
Right.
about it, and we think someday, it's not that long away.
No.
To where,
He's only 20. I mean, you figure
Yeah.
he's 22 years older
Right,
than me. He was
right.
young when we were
Doesn't
born. His
sound
son's,
that
his
much.
son's like in his 50s.
right. So you see, so you think of it from their perspective, but then you think about it from the caregiver's perspective, or me trying to take care of my mom, you trying to help your uncle or something
Yeah.
like that. It's just, and take away the emotion of it, but the sheer work that it takes, the time and energy it takes, it was something else. And there's 4 of us kids, and most of it fell on one of my sisters, and I like to surely say that I took a good brunt of it too. But it is so much work and so time consuming. And even talking, when my mom made the decision, yes, yes, I want to sell the house. I want to, I can't keep up with it, and all this is going on. I want to go to an apartment and assisted living and things like that. But she got there, and as soon as she walked in, she would just take turns calling through all of us, just screaming and yelling and, berating us and how we've ruined her life and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's so hard.
Right. Dad, I remember when my dad, he of course was living with this lady next door, and she said she basically told him, because he was sick and his bypassed it, she wasn't gonna, she was younger, wasn't gonna take care of him. So we did find a really nice place. So, and he was really happy with it, and we went in, and I fixed it up really, really nice for him. And
yeah.
we had brought in nice ceiling fans, and bought all new like you did with your mom. And I told Dad, I said, okay, well, I'm taking a week's vacation, and I'm going to stay here a week while you get settled. It wasn't very far from me. It was just on the other side of town.
Okay.
And so I stayed, and then we realized that he was really in such bad shape, he never really could take completely care of himself. And so I literally lived there a year.
Really?
Lived there a year, yes. In fact, I laugh because I got to be friends with some of the little ladies, because we'd go down and we'd have our meals down there.
I can see that. Yeah.
And then we'd always, I'd cook stuff for him, and his, one of they'd say, well, I got a letter from somebody today. Would you mind coming over and reading it for me? And I'd get in the elevator to go home and get more clothes or get whatever I needed. And we were so fortunate. What made us so fortunate is the time I was in sales, and I was able to work from home.
Yes.
And so, because if I had to travel, Cindy would come over and spend the night.
Oh, good.
Or Chuck would drop food. And we had a big poster we put up there, a whiteboard, and we'd write Connie on, because he would not remember.
Right.
Connie's gone. Cindy will be here at this time. Chuck will be here at this time. Yeah. And but. Yeah, I'd get in the elevator, and everybody'd be there. But it was me, and I said, I promise, I have a house. Yeah, I have a place I live.
I'm not homeless living
here. I'm not
here.
homeless living here. I do have a place, but no, I spent every single
Connie.
night, and that's less probably than that if I didn't.
That's amazing.
If I didn't travel. But the funny thing is I didn't care for the lady that he had been, had gotten involved with.
Yeah,
and so. When I would go out of town, my dad would ask my sister, could you call her and see if she wants to come over? And they would sneak her. I mean, they were like little kids, I guess. They would sneak her over while I was out of town, so I wouldn't know about it. One day we were sitting on the couch, and I was laying on the couch. My dad was in his chair, and he said, "Well, are you doing okay?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Oh, I hear your granddaughter's getting married." And he said something else. He goes, "Well, that ought to be a really big event you're looking forward to." And I looked at him and said, "It sure is, Ron. That's my ex-husband's name." And I said, "You do realize I'm Connie. I'm your daughter." Her.
Oh my goodness.
And then we'd hear him on the phone. He'd call her, thinking he'd do it. He was, because lived in, the house was in his name and everything. And he's the one that had to move. He moved out and let her stay.
Yeah.
And he'd get on the phone with her, and Cindy and I would laugh with her, saying, "Well, now, are you still living up there on that house on the hill?" And then when she got in really bad shape and ended up being blind, and we heard Dad nod. This isn't funny, but we heard Cindy and I were in there, and we're looking at Dad saying, "Well, I really don't have anything, but I have that house. I mean, I'll sign the house over to you." And I'm looking at Cindy and I go, "Shut up." Grab that phone from him.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
But yeah. So but he was never defiant. I mean, like I said, at least they were sneaking around. They wasn't trying to say, "Well, she's gonna come over and that's just gonna be it. Like take it or leave it."
Yeah.
Or, I'm gonna eat at this particular time, or I want this and I'm gonna it's just a bad situation.
It's a bad situation, and there's no right answer, no right way. And every single person is obviously so unique in their situation. It's just, but we have to deal with it.
There's all kinds when you get older. Either you can, I don't wonder what kind I'm going to be.
I know. I think about that
what
too.
my kids are going to,
I hope I like my grandmother where I just.
I know, baby. Oh goodness.
He loves you so much.
I know. And I love him. He's good. You're good.
I don't know what I was going to say, but.
Yeah, I mean, I was just wondering, like I said, I wonder what. Yeah.
How we'll be.
How I'm going to, when that time comes for me, I'm going to, I hope I take after my dad.
Yes.
And I hope that I make life easy for him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Me too.
So they say, that, they're going to, my older son's really sweet. He says, "No, Mom, I'm going to, maybe if you want to work a couple more years and I'm going to take care of everything. And you don't have to worry." But my dad's main fear was, he always said he just didn't want to be a burden to his family. And he was never a burden.
Yeah.
But
that's sweet.
with Uncle Kenny, I don't know I don't know what to do.
Yeah. I
mean, he's so defiant.
Yeah.
I mean, he's determined on what his health care is going to be. It's going to be none.
Yeah.
Just because he knows what's wrong and the doctors don't.
Yeah. And even just a simple
Driving.
decision. Well, I was going to say, at some point,
somebody's got
you've got to think about other people on the road.
Exactly.
Not just him.
We thought about that. We thought that's really, what you're driving
it could be
a car.
A young family.
Or you can't fool your feet to know which way you're going.
Right.
No, there's a time. The time is here. And I said, and I told him, I said, you can order your food online. There's so much you can do, but he's too stubborn.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to change. I honestly don't think, we were talking the other day, I don't think it's when it comes to really moving, even though he says he knows he needs assistance. I don't think he's going to do it. I think he'll probably, they mentioned that trying to find in the complex, maybe there's a show, because bathing is a real issue.
Yeah.
Because he can't get his leg up over to the bathtub. If maybe they have one for handicap.
Yeah, right.
That he could move into, that would have a shower.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So it's, like I said, I don't know what.
Well, I hate that for you, but
I hope I'm going to be good.
I know. Hopefully you and I. Hopefully, my daughter she'll just put us in a little apartment together.
Well, that'll be fine.
We can have our wine and do our shopping,
doing our podcasting, we'll be talking with our chit chats, and they don't remember each other's names,
I know.
or remember our past. But I think we'll like each other.
Yeah, I do too. I do. No, you're right. You're exactly right. That's what I hope. You don't want to be a burden.
No,
and
I hope independent, and I hope that I face the facts that the way I should, the way I can.
Yeah.
I hope I can keep my faculties
Yeah.
and be
Yeah.
and like it's be like be my
Right. And
dad.
be very
That would be
independent.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that would be very
Yeah.
scary. But it's tough when you reach 70 plus
Hmm.
and
Well,
you have to take care of those that
yeah.
are your my parents aren't still alive, but
Yeah.
like you've
Yeah.
got your mom
Yeah.
and my uncle at
Yep.
92 and
Yep.
what he
Well,
struggles
we
with.
have Dixie.
Yeah. Oh,
And
that's
Dixie's,
right.
yeah,
Yeah,
Dixie's
Dixie's at
doing great.
92.
Yeah.
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 And what's gonna,
Yeah.
what does the future
Yeah.
hold?
Yeah. And it's so unknown on how we're talking about how ourselves, how we will be, but we just don't know because you go from one extreme. You've got
When you get
Alzheimer's,
sick
you've got
and yeah.
dementia, you've got a illness or disease that happens quickly. Oh, bless his heart.
I want to
And
give everybody a little update on poor
on,
Kenya. He said that
yeah.
he's really
Oh,
struggling. He was like he's really struggling today.
yeah. Yes, I am. I keep saying it over and over and over. But I'm heartbroken. But and he is every single day struggling a little bit more. So I think it'll be a decision that we will make pretty quickly here. And I talked to you about this earlier. It's so hard because you just see he was here and loving, and you love him
Yes.
so much and everything. But then it's like Jonathan told me, put it in good perspective. I think that. You don't want to keep him alive and suffering just for your own sake.
You know what? That was some really good advice. I said my little Maltese, I probably did it way too late. If I had my son not stepped in,
Mm-hmm.
because it's just like it's a family. It's a
Yeah,
family member.
it is a
It's just
family
like
member.
And you don't get to ask
Yeah, they can't
you
tell
don't get to ask the
you.
questions.
That's
They don't have a
right.
do
That's
not
right. That's
resuscitate.
right.
Do not. No,
That's
I mean that's all on you, and
that's
and
exactly
you can
right.
feel just as guilty
Yeah. And you know who they
doing
were
that.
before, especially a German Shepherd. I mean, we've talked about this before, but every single day almost we went for a run. And I mean, we've gone just on a little 3 mile run in the neighborhood to 10 miles out on the trails. That's just what we did for all these years. And it's just, and plus he's so protective and just everything.
Right.
It's just
And
it's,
loving.
yeah, and loving. And it's just it's just not him anymore.
No.
And he tries. I mean, he'll hear the dog, next door dog, and he'll try to run out there, and but he just, he'll get a little bit across the yard and have to lay down and stuff. So he can't be the dog that he is.
Yeah, I mean, it's losing. We talk about the problems with your mom, my
Yeah.
uncle,
Yeah.
but when you have pets, you got to make those same
Yeah.
decisions, and it hurts. And I hate to say this,
Yeah.
and maybe, but it hurts just as bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it hurts.
I can believe that.
It hurts
Yeah.
every bit
Yeah.
as bad. I
Yeah.
mean, I was a basket case when my little Maltese because he slept with me every night.
When you had him for how long?
15 years,
15 years.
16 years,
Yeah.
yeah. And it was and he just loved me and I loved him. And
Yeah.
he would just, and I was a basket case.
Yeah.
I can just
Yeah.
lay on the couch for 2 or 3 days
Yeah.
and I just I couldn't even function.
Yeah, I believe that, and we kind of go through that a little bit, just knowing what's going to come up. But I have to think about him. It comes to that time. You have to think about him,
Yeah.
and not me. And yeah,
Those were,
I know I'm
those
gonna
were some
feel-
good words from Jonathan. Those were
yeah,
some
yeah.
very
He's
comforting.
been through it before. He's always.
I remember
had-
when he lost
Yeah,
his.
yeah. Yeah, Lolo was just about a year ago.
Yeah.
About
It's
the
right
same
on his
time.
birthday.
Yeah. So who knew that a year later this would happen to Kenyon?
Yeah. Same thing with people.
Yeah, absolutely. You
Will
don't know.
Yeah, none of us are guaranteed another
Yeah.
day. So with that being said, let's see if we can make it to another podcast next
Oh my
week.
goodness.
Yeah, we've had some heavy ones.
We
We got to come up, but Shelby is going to.
My daughter will be here
will be next, and that's
next
gonna.
time. Yeah.
Now that's going to be fun. She's
That'll be fun.
absolutely beautiful.
Oh.
She'll be able to give us some real perspective
Yeah, I
on,
wanna hear-
on what it's like having an aging parent.
Oh dear, that's right.
Think about it.
Yeah,
let's
she
see
has
what she has in plan
Yeah.
for you.
Which kind of scared me a little bit because back a couple months ago we were having Jonathan was out of town with his dad passing and everything, and that's been when we were going to have an ice storm. I don't, back in January,
Yeah.
I guess. And it was supposed to be really bad. And she was like, Mom, I don't want you there by yourself. And I'm like, I'm fine. Everything is fine. And my sister, which we joke that Shelby jokes always that she'll get both of us. But
Right.
anyway, and she's like, she doesn't need to be by herself either. I'm just going to come by and pick y'all both up and bring you here. And I was thinking, oh my gosh. Is she going to, is this the way it's going to be when I'm older? She's going to pick me up.
I'm just picking you
Yeah,
up.
that's right.
It's nice to have somebody care that much.
Oh, it is. It is. And we laugh about it and everything. But it will be fun to hear her perspective on that, and also her perspective on, how big I am on the world and what's happening.
And what's happening with the younger generation.
Yeah,
thinks,
and what she's looking forward to or scared of.
And I wonder what she's going to think what she's going to be like when she's our age.
Oh, yeah.
What does she think she's going to?
Crazy.
Is she going to be like you? Is she going to?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we all come into our own.
Of course.
For some reason, I always feel like we just kind of, like I said, I look in the mirror and I actually see my mom and my dad and these days, and you're not okay, it's scary.
Yeah, no, it's very scary because Jonathan said to me the other day, because I was saying something about, I see where you get it from, because Dixie was here, with your mom and stuff. He goes, well, I see where you get it there, and it's like, oh no.
Yeah, I said, I know I'm never going to be like that. I'm never going to be like that. And then you turn around, and you look in the mirror, and you're, oh my God, I'm like that.
A DNA.
Yes.
That's funny, but that'll be fun. We'll have a good time next time.
So like us, subscribe, and we'll see you next week
Yeah.
with Shelby.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.